Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So this will be your weekly astrology forecast for the week of March 2nd to the 8th of 2025. Before we get into the charts for this week, if you are looking for a reading with me through my Etsy shop, looking to support me on Ko-Fi through membership or donation, or looking to join the Discord server or any of that kind of stuff, all the links are in the description below if you're on YouTube and in my bio if you are on TikTok. Of course, the easiest and most free way that you can help me is, of course, to like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, hit that follow button if you're on TikTok, and that helps the algorithm to push this video to more people. All right. With all that being said, we can get into the charts. However, as I say at the beginning of all of my readings here, anything that I say regarding the future, okay, because I get a lot of stuff through intuitively, right? So anything that I say regarding any aspects of the future, regarding predictions, anything like that, is always subject to change, okay? My own guidance has always been astrology is an energetic template conducive to certain things. All right, so we're existing with certain energetic vibrational themes. However, specific events can still shift and change within those energetic themes. All right, there's specific vibrations going on, which are still going to be there. However, certain events, we still have free will in terms of either allowing, disallowing them, or, we can change them up, even though there's that certain vibrational energy that still exists in terms of that astrological energy. All right. So with all that being said, let me get to the chart here from my end, and we can definitely have a look here for this week. So starting on Sunday, March 2nd. So we got a few things going on today. So I just got my little list of aspects here. Okay. And they updated the app now, so it doesn't screw me up anymore. If a lot of you maybe watched me before know that I complain about this app that I use to show all like the peaking transits and stuff. But we're good now. They fixed it. Okay. So first thing on my list here is we're going to have the Mercury. We're going to have Mercury conjunct Neptune in Pisces. Excuse me. All right, so with this, I think this is a lot of what I've already kind of talked about in terms of the Mercury and Pisces type of energy, which Mercury and Pisces can be that deceptive energy. So it's either communication of what's been hidden behind the veil or behind the illusion, or even just the illusion itself being communicated, or using that in terms of deceiving people, or like the deception type of energy. Now, to see through that kind of deception, of course, with Pisces, that's so maybe pay attention to that. That's connecting with your own intuition, connecting with spirituality, connecting with things that can take you beyond the surface level, beyond maybe what is being shown to you, to see what is really happening, behind the scenes. One thing I'm kind of being given is it's like a movie set. When you go and watch a movie or watch a show, even on YouTube or whatever like that, if people are vlogging and stuff, you're only seeing what they want you to see from that perspective, right? But if you were to zoom out or expand out beyond that, you'd be able to see what it actually is. You'd be able to see, like, in terms of a movie set, like all the cameras, the lights, the, people having a snack in the back while other actors having their snack while the main ones are on set right now or something, like, what I mean? Like, you just zoom out and you can see all of like the production that exists, behind that when we're just looking at this one scene. And it's not only that, but it's also the post-production, as in adding in all the special effects, music, other audio stuff, color grading is another big thing. Color can, shifting that color can change the mood of a scene. Maybe it was shot on like a bright sunny day, but you want it to make it seem a bit more, you got to dim the lighting a bit to make, get the mood in depending on whatever the scene is. That's kind of, what that is. So, and again, Pisces is that creative aspect, using all of that to show the illusion. However, if you just zoom out a bit, you can see what creates that illusion, right? So Mercury, especially with Jupiter in Gemini, that expansion of that communication, that awareness that is going on, that I've already talked about in the past quite a few videos, I think going way back to the end of 2024. with that, the expansion of awareness there with that Jupiter in Gemini. Of course, I'm kind of being drawn to this quintile that is existing here between Mercury and Jupiter. So that's very much like the behind the scenes feminine creative type energy coming through. So there may be, it can also seem like fate too is another thing that I'm getting in terms of whatever that expansion is. But it's kind of maybe showing us what has been hidden. Because remember, that's that behind the scenes, that feminine type of energy. The feminine aspect is what connects us to our intuition, to kind of what's been hidden in a lot of ways. All right, feminine energy is very powerful energy, and all of us have both divine masculine and divine feminine energy within all of us, all right? And that doesn't matter what your physical gender is, your gender identity, sexual orientation, any of that. That's all, of course, very much still valid, as that is who you are, what you came, the character you came to play in this life. However, energetically, we have both divine masculine and divine feminine energy within all of us, and when they're equal and working together is when we're operating at our best, right? When there's that unification that occurs inside of us instead of pushing things out of balance. Okay, so I feel like that's a lot of what maybe there's either going to be more of an illusion coming through, or maybe what I'm feeling is there's an expansion of awareness of that something's really fucking weird here and going on, and like, what the hell, right? And you may want to kind of expand beyond that. Another thing I was getting here is you have to remember that the traditional ruler of Pisces is actually Jupiter, and Jupiter's in Gemini, like I said, with the Jupiter's in Gemini, which is Mercury's sign, conjunct Neptune, which is the modern ruler of Pisces, in Pisces, right? So that's all kind of tied together through this like expansion of awareness, communication, maybe even deceptive communication, etc. However, what I'm getting at with that traditional ruler of Pisces is that aspect of expansion. There's no boundaries to Pisces, right? And mainly that's in terms of like creativity and all of that. But when I was talking about the movie set type of thing, is that expanding, when you expand beyond your limited form of vision. Okay, I think I get what's coming through here. When you expand beyond your limited form of vision, you begin to see what's been hidden from you. And that is also this aspect of Gemini opposite Sagittarius. So when you're dealing with Mercury and Gemini, you're dealing with like little things, you're dealing with communication, you're dealing with the world, your local environment. It's very like limited in scope. Whereas when you're dealing with Sagittarius or more Jupiter type of energy, or even Pisces in this sense as well too, where there's no boundaries, that idea of expansion and flowing out, right? That idea of expansion where you're beginning to see beyond those limitations. And in this case, the limitations that maybe we've been manipulated in terms of believing, deceived in terms of believing in a lot of ways with this energy here. Of course, this is also happening on top of the North Node in Pisces as well. And with this, like I said, with the South Node in Virgo, which is another Mercury-ruled sign. So maybe this is dealing with aspects of maybe certain mercurial things or stuff that's coming up that we need to be aware of that doesn't seem practical anymore, that we need to let go of to move in a new direction, right? And with Pisces, it's the unknown, right? We don't know maybe what we're creating as we're moving forward, but we just have to trust in the process that we are powerful creators and we can move into the unknown safely and powerfully. We need to recognize our own confidence and power in doing so, right? And again, what we deemed as practical maybe just isn't practical anymore due to whatever expansion of awareness that is occurring here, which very well could relate to a lot of the details or detail-oriented things that maybe come up in that sense. Like I said, South Node in Virgo, a Mercury-ruled sign. South Node here can feel like a constant Mercury retrograde, which means things are going to be coming up, seem weird, crazy, thrown in our face, like, okay, we got to rework this, refix this, like, what the fuck is going on? I think that describes our world right now in a lot of ways, as in what the fuck is going on. What we've deemed as practical and stable in a day-to-day sense just isn't going to be that way anymore. All right, we are heading into the unknown, but we have to understand our own power with our own creativity as we begin to move forward here. All right, so that's what I'm kind of getting with that. Also on this day too, we're going to have the Sun in square to Jupiter. So again, that's adding more fuel to the fire in terms of this Pisces energy, in terms of what's being illuminated in this sense. in terms of what I just already talked about, especially since Jupiter is obviously in Mercury's sign, Mercury conjunct Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, Sun in Pisces. We're just adding to this energy here, and with this square to Jupiter, that square is pushing for resolution in some way. It's pushing for that expansion of awareness of the mind in some way through communication or whatever, in terms of maybe what has been hidden, or it's maybe even throwing deception right in your face and being like, you know what, stop being a fucking idiot and believing this bullshit, right? Expand your mind, expand your awareness out to see this for what it actually fucking is, and stop believing in the lie and the bullshit or whatever, you know, that's being thrown in our faces a lot of the time. All right, and of course Jupiter is conjunct Uranus's north node here in Gemini, dealing with this aspect of change in a lot of ways too, shaking things up in that sense as well. All right, and with Uranus and Taurus, these are big shifts and changes. You know, Taurus is the bull, it doesn't like to move, it's like that cattle prod energy. So it's kind of like, get fucking moving, guys, like, you know, let's go. It's that sense there as well. Another thing that's happening today is this Sun in sesqui-square to a black moon Lilith here in Libra. Of course, I have talked about this before in terms of black moon Lilith in Libra, feeling outcasted in terms of what I'm getting again is injustices. It can be relationships as well, but one thing I'm getting is injustices. Or things, because Libra is the balance scales, balance, justice, right? It's, you know, the judge. But Libra likes to weigh things out. It can see both sides of things, but this is where things have been out of balance, injustice, etc. And through this expansion of awareness, and with the sesqui-square too, this is like a super square. This is very much, this can't be swept under the rug any longer in terms of maybe what has been hidden. There's an illumination of this expansion of maybe the stuff that's been hidden, stuff that's behind the veil, lifting up of these things, to see awareness of injustices and all the stuff that has been really going on, just in the world or in our personal lives, wherever, you know, this energy is occurring in our lives, in our charts, right? So, you know, if you want to apply this in the sense of like a personal reading, you can apply what I'm saying to your own chart. However, really the best way to only truly understand how these energies are going to affect you is through some kind of a personal, you know, reading, astrology reading involving transits for the current energies and how they're going to affect you. All right, because doing this through just basic sun sign astrology, oh, I'm a Cancer, what's happening to me? Like that's so surface level, that's so like, there's not enough information there to actually give you a cohesive answer through just astrology, okay? If you want to do that through astrology, you need to do an actual like full birth chart reading as encompassing all aspects of the chart, not just your sun sign. I'm sorry, but sometimes, in fact, maybe even a lot of times, your sun is not the most powerful point in your chart. Hey, you know, like what's your chart ruler? Do you have a stellium in your chart? That can leave a lot of, you know, intense energy and a very strong point in your chart of where that energy lies. Is your chart ruler in a very strong place, is being strongly aspected? Maybe that's more of the vibe that you're giving off instead of your sun, right? So there's more to it than just your sun sign, and you can't just you know, be like, oh, I'm a Cancer, what's going on for me? Like that's just no. Anybody that's serious about astrology knows exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah. Anyway, then we're going to have here, so interesting. So we're going to have the south node here in this semi-sextile to black moon Lilith, and the north node, well, is it not? There we go. North node there in quincunx to that black moon Lilith. So there's an opportunity here to maybe let go of some aspect of injustice in terms of what we have deemed as practical in terms of our day-to-day life hasn't been practical and is not leading to proper balance in terms of our relationships, and is leaving people, maybe outcasted in a lot of ways. All right. I was going to say something about what's happening in the world, but let's just I'll let you read between the lines, okay? So there's that. And with this quincunx, of course, there's a frustration here in integrating this moving forward in a new unknown direction. It's like people are scared to move forward. People are scared of what they don't understand. People are scared of the unknown. All right? And that's maybe why certain injustices still exist and why certain people are being outcasted in a lot of ways, because they're afraid of what they don't understand. They're afraid of what they don't know. They're afraid to move into the unknown. They're afraid to trust and have faith. All right? However, with the semi-sextile here, there's something that's going on here with this that's helping to release these old practical things that just aren't no longer serving us any longer. It's like we're dealing with, in terms of Virgo and Pisces, mutable energy, which is changeable, it's malleable, it needs to shift. Libra is cardinal energy, right? So we're wanting to move in a new direction, move forward. And of course, this would be justice for those who have felt outcasted and injustice in that sense. But there's something practical that needs to be released here in this way in order for us to move forward. But the fear here is regarding the unknown, because this North Node is in Pisces. Okay, there could be fog, there could be whatever, but you have to trust, and I'm getting this, there's the feminine aspect coming through again. You have to trust that intuitive part of yourself. But a lot of people in our society, world, etc., have been made to believe that the feminine is bad or negative. Well, it's not. The feminine is extremely powerful energy. What I feel is one of the most powerful signs in astrology is Scorpio. And what is Scorpio? A feminine sign. Okay, you have to consider this transformational power. People fear Scorpio because, I was going to say because they're morons, but because they're afraid of their own shadow. They're afraid of their own shadow. They're afraid of their own skeletons in their own closet. Okay, Scorpio makes you face what you need to face in order to transform, heal, and experience that rebirth, be reborn again. Okay, but in order to do that, you have to face it. There's no sweeping anything under the rug. There's no just ignoring the elephant in the room and pretending to be happy and thinking that that's just going to make you happy. No, that's just fucked up bullshit. Okay, you want to actually really truly be happy, you need to heal. You need to heal your traumas. You need to face what you got to face. You got to face all that crap in order to transform and experience that rebirth, that healing, to move forward again. That's a feminine energy, and that is very strong and very powerful energy, yet people fear it. You get what I'm saying here? The feminine is not what we've been made to believe as this weak type of energy. It is not. The feminine energy is extremely strong energy. It's just as strong as the masculine, just in a different way. Okay, different does not mean better. Different does not mean less than. Different just means different. And we need to recognize that. We need to understand that, because there's so much in this world that it's like if something is different, all of a sudden it's feared and it's wrong, and it's like, no. How about you grow to understand it? Learn about it first before you begin to judge it, right? That's a lot of what this is, especially with North Node and Pisces. We don't know where we're going, but we need to have the trust and faith. We need to have trust and faith that within our own selves, with our own feminine energy, to be able to tap in, to tune in, to get guidance on where we need to go, but to also trust and have faith in our own power. In our own fucking power, and not give our power away to whoever is in charge politically or people around us or whatever, right? We are extremely powerful in our own right. Your soul is a fractal of Source. You are a piece of God incarnate. Okay, you have the power to create your own reality in however you wish to create it. You were powerful enough to create the character that you wanted to play in this physical game of life. From a non-physical perspective, from that level, you created this. Okay? And in fact, you co-created it with your parents and so on and whatever in terms of how you got here. But you created that. You played a role within that. Okay, you are powerful enough to create physicality from non-physicality. You can do anything. Okay, you can do anything. All right. Anyways, that's Sunday. Let's move on to Monday. Let's move on to Monday the 3rd. Okay, and Monday the 3rd here is when we're going to have Mercury entering into Aries. One thing that is coming through here now that I've gotten through before, or that I've gotten previously when I've kind of, had a little glance at this before, is that Mercury in Aries, this could lead a lot to some anger, release of anger, some fiery energy. Especially now that we have Jupiter in Gemini, and Mercury's in shadow now, remember, and Mercury is going to go retrograde here. Most of the retrograde is going to exist in Aries, however, it'll go retrograde back into Pisces a few degrees, into Pisces there. So it's going over whatever, this conjunction to Neptune, North Node kind of stuff is kind of maybe brought up in a lot of ways. Like, are you expanding your awareness in terms of these areas? Because if you're not getting it right away, this Mercury retrograde is sure as hell going to make sure you fucking understand it by the end of it. Because whatever happens in the pre-shadow period is going to happen, or is going to come up again during the retrograde and in post-shadow. So if you don't get it the first time, you're going to get it the next 2 times for sure, probably. If you don't get it by then, you're a fucking moron. Okay? Because, not trying to purposely call people out here, but it's like if something's happening to you and it gets thrown in your face 3 fucking times and you still haven't paid attention to it yet, hello, wake up, something's wrong. And I mean, to be honest, we've all been there, okay? We've all been there where the universe has tried to throw something in our face and we've realized that we've all been a fucking moron at some point in our lives, all right? So I'm not just saying this to be rude to people. I'm saying this because I've been a fucking moron too, okay? So this isn't just, this isn't just me being mean. This is just me kind of saying this for what this is, all right? Yeah. Okay, but that's one thing that's kind of coming through here. So maybe there is an expansion of awareness that came through here, and now we're really fucking pissed off about it. Or we're wanting to take action on something that maybe has come to light in some way. This doesn't have to be negative where we're angry, but this could be like we're taking passionate action based off of maybe knowledge or awareness, or we're passionately speaking about something. We're just speaking because we're speaking. We're not really thinking it through. That's another thing with Aries too. It's that Mars, it's that instinctual, just like, I'm gonna fucking say what I'm gonna say, do what I'm gonna do. I don't really care, because Aries is that very independent aspect of, it's yourself. It's the aspect of self. It's like, I'm gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't fucking care anymore. Right? So there is that aspect. And maybe it relates to that aspect of injustices and that expansion of communication and awareness that is coming through now based off of, what's been going on. If we look at what's been going on in our world, this could mean other things too. On my last video, I think I said March was going to be, a power month. I think we've got a lot of weird energy still kind of going on here, especially since we're heading into eclipse season and, it started, so we're heading into the eclipses, and that energy, we're going to really be feeling it. And stuff's, like I said, stuff's probably going to get thrown in our face. And we need to become aware of this stuff, right? And sometimes maybe you need to be angry to make people aware. You shouldn't have to do that. Okay, we need to maybe look at, exhausting all other possibilities first before you have to resort to what you didn't want to resort to, if you know what I mean, right? Make sure that you're, I was going to say, cross your T's, dot your I's, that kind of thing. Nobody really writes in script anymore, but that's kind of, you have to just, what I'm just saying is basically what I just said. Make sure that you've tried everything that you can to do in an appropriate way first before you attempt that which may get you in trouble. All right? Yeah. Okay, on this day also we're going to have Mars, which is now direct, in sesqui-square to Juno, which is now in Sagittarius. Okay, so Juno and Sagittarius, Juno represents partnerships, specifically contractual partnerships. That can be marriages, that can be committed romantic relationships, that can also be business contracts, any type of contract, maybe even soul contracts. Could be like your rent contract, anything that's, like a contractual partnership in some way. All right, Mars is now direct, but is in post-shadow. So when I talked about this Mars retrograde, I have been talking about this is the masculine taking a good hard look at itself. In terms of the masculine expression, the masculine energy. Okay, that isn't necessarily a reference to your physical gender body. if you have a dick and you express that you're completely masculine, then that's you. But if you have a dick and you express more as feminine, well, then that's you, okay? But what I'm telling you is that this energy exists within all of us, like I said, regardless of our gender expression, sexual orientation, etc., including our physical gender. However, what this is really is the masculine within all of us having a relook at itself in basis of how we've been taught or in a lot of ways coerced into believing what the masculine should be and how it should express in our society and our world. And within Cancer, this can deal a lot with, in terms of like our emotions, emotional expression. It can deal with family as well too, in terms of like the family unit and maybe the masculine role within that, right? So there is that. Okay, so with this sesqui square here, there's something that can't be swept under the rug any longer, maybe in terms of expanding whatever certain contractual partnerships here are after having a relook of whatever came up during this Mars retrograde. Now Mars is moving forward, still in post shadow. We're still having a look at this, maybe taking action more from an emotional standpoint, maybe taking action more from the heart surrounding, and this could be positive energy too when we're dealing with Sagittarius. But now I'm being more drawn to the fact maybe Jupiter in Gemini as it relates to maybe some of this Pisces energy that I talked about earlier here in terms of the expansion of the awareness. Maybe now we're taking action to maybe push for resolution in some way surrounding these aspects of contractual partnerships, maybe wanting to expand them to be in a more positive way or expand them in some sense where it's not existing in the same way that it was before. Of course, in Sagittarius, this could even just be viewing it from that outer view, from zooming out and seeing it more for what it is instead of from a more narrow-minded perspective, like I was talking about earlier from, that aspect of maybe Gemini versus Sagittarius in terms of a limited view versus a more expansive type of view in terms of these energetic themes here with Mars and Juno. Okay, and maybe another thing that's coming through is in terms of the masculine or a masculine type of vibe or energy within those contracts and maybe expanding that into new areas, new ways, or what I'm kind of feeling is it's expanding it into a form of newness where whatever has been brought up during this retrograde maybe even be released in a lot of ways. Now we're moving forward maybe to finally rework and move this in a new direction in terms of the masculine expression. And there's now that expansion of that, or that view that we're seeing in terms of our partnerships and contracts, etc., of maybe how the current expression of masculine within that can expand and change in a more positive way. I hope I'm explaining that in a way that's understood. Right? And I'm just seeing here Mars is conjunct Saturn's North Node. So this could be dealing with, again, those old rules, restrictions, etc. that are being dissolved. We have to have a look here at that Saturn is in Pisces. I consider that the dissolution of the malefic energy. We're in a mutable sign. It's changeable. It's like the river eroding the earth as the water flows, right? So there's that part of it that maybe it's dissolving those old structures. We're dealing with there's two water signs here, the dissolving of those old structures as we begin to expand and grow and learn from the mistakes of the past. All right. And we're also going to have, where are we here? So this is where we're going to have Mercury peaking in that quintile to Jupiter. So through whatever maybe that creative expansion, that awareness that was coming through, maybe that behind the scenes awareness that was coming through, like I said, with that Mercury-Neptune conjunction, which is still technically kind of conjunct even though it's out of sign, but maybe now we're kind of feeling like this fiery, passionate, energy now coming through. Pay attention to that. Because usually when I burp, it's my guide's trying to say, pay attention to what you're saying. That expansion of, I was going to say, what the hell was I talking about? I want to say expansion of awareness, but whatever was coming through regarding, where am I? Right, expansion of awareness, because we're talking about Jupiter and Gemini here. Oh, behind the scenes, hidden type of energy. Okay. In terms of what was coming through there, but there's this fiery passion now regarding whatever that was. All right, and with this biquintile, or this quintile, similar vibe, there's that feminine creative energy, that behind the scenes energy coming through, whether this has something that was behind the scenes that has come through already, or that was being worked on, or now you're working on it behind the scenes, through whatever this expansion of awareness is that is kind of coming through here in the sense, but this is very creative feminine energy as well. But it is helping, can almost seem like fated, but again, you create your fate, we create our fate, right? Because there is that aspect of free will coming through within that. Okay, but yeah, there's something about, through whatever the expansion of this, there's an expansion of communication here, but I feel there's a feminine vibe with this quintile in terms of whatever the expression of this Mercury is in Aries, surrounding, like I said, this expansion of awareness. And like I said, there could be an anger that is coming through here and finally being communicated through here, in a lot of ways maybe rightfully so. Okay, because we've now moved from maybe, there was the quincunx there with the North Node to Black Moon Lilith, but now we have Mercury here in a triseptile. All right, so there is an aspect, and what can feel when we're dealing with maybe septiles, triseptiles, they can deal with an aspect of maybe fate and stuff coming through too here. So there's something, and maybe even something manifest coming through from like another realm, in that sense too. So there is that aspect with these minor aspects that we're probably going to be feeling this, but it's, like I said, it's surrounding this expansion of awareness that seems to be coming back now. I talked about this, when did I talk about this the last time? So the last time Mercury went retrograde, actually, at the end of 2024, where we were having it in Sagittarius. We had Jupiter and Gemini, and there was that opposition, and it was that they were kind of like in each other's, Jupiter, Mercury were in each other's signs. There was that expansion, and I feel like it's coming back in a sense with this. Because Jupiter is still in Gemini, even though Mercury is now in Aries, it's retrograding in another fire sign. So there is that, we're really going to see it, I think, whatever it is that's coming up in terms of this expansion. But I feel like now maybe it's like that passion, that anger, that real raw feeling is now coming out. Maybe that fight for what's right that is now coming out. In terms of this, again, more expansion of awareness. We're becoming more and more and more aware of what's really broken in our world, right? And I think a lot of that is that's just the times we're in. Like I said, astrology is an energetic template conducive to certain things. And it's conducive to really what's kind of going on right now. In a lot of ways. Of course, it doesn't have to manifest in that way. It just turns out that that's how it currently is. All right? Okay, so that's Monday. Let's just move on here to go to Tuesday the 4th. Tuesday the 4th here, we're going to have Mercury in trine to Juno in Sagittarius. So maybe now there's an aspect of, communication or expansion of awareness surrounding those contractual partnerships. Again, we're dealing with an expansion. There's an aspect of communication, what's coming through here, an aspect of communication surrounding whatever these contracts are. Okay, whether this is a romantic contract, romantic whatever, I'm feeling like there's an expansion of something here, maybe in terms of anger. This could even be in terms of like people's rights, in terms of whatever these contracts are, these partnerships are. Because with Sagittarius, that expansion, I was going to say seems to be positive, but I mean, this can be done at kind of any kind of vibration, but what I'm getting here is that positive expansion of what we need to see in terms of there's multiple paths here, right? And that's existing within whatever these contracts are or partnerships are, and learning to expand the idea of that in some way, and that there are multiple paths here. Sorry, it's like I'm just saying what I'm getting, all right? And there's like a communication or that expansion of awareness that is coming through here in some way surrounding that. Of course, this is a trine, this is a positive flowing energy. These are two fire signs that are now working together. So there's a passion here that is involved with this somehow. All right, and we're dealing with mutable and cardinal energy. So there's this ending and beginning. Okay, and the beginning part is happening with Mercury here, which is in shadow, but in Aries. So there's that expression through awareness, communication, etc., through whatever positive expansion surrounding these aspects of partnerships, contracts, etc., that is coming through here. Sorry if I'm looking a bit jiggly in the camera. There is a train going by the house where I'm recording this, where I live. And it's sometimes, because I'm on a higher level in the house, and the house is made of wood, we get a little bit jiggly. Okay, so I can just see my monitor slowly start to jiggle here. And my camera's sitting on top, so if I look jiggly, that is why. Okay, but... And again, interestingly, we're talking about Sagittarius, which is like that aspect of like, can be like travel as well. And train is a form of, travel that's outside of your local environment, that more worldly type of travel. So anyway, I don't know, maybe I need to bring that up for some reason. Maybe that's related to what it is that I'm talking about in some way, where these are contracts maybe surrounding aspects of travel, communication and anger surrounding aspects of travel. One thing that I'm getting is the aspects of how we've gotten like plane crashes and stuff that have been happening lately. I live in Canada, so there was that one in Toronto. There was the one earlier at, I forget where it was, in the US with the helicopter and the plane. And I don't know if there's like I think maybe there's other stuff going on. Those are the ones that I've heard of. But it just seems like Sagittarius kind of rules that type of energy. So whether there's certain partnerships and contracts that are existing, there's maybe an expansion of awareness here surrounding that, I don't know. There's maybe something about that is coming up in this energy now. And with Mercury and Aries, maybe communication or awareness surrounding that. Maybe there was something hidden going on. Like that's kind of the vibe of maybe where this energy could be going in this way. So just be mindful of that. Again, it's like I said at the beginning of this video, this is all subject to change. This is what I'm getting right now in terms of maybe the vibe of this energy. However, we all have free will. That could change. However, there's an aspect of that energy that kind of fits here. So take that for what you will. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to talk about with that. Let's move on to Wednesday the 5th here. And of course on Wednesday the 5th we're going to have, oh boy, Mercury in sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. I think this is going to be getting wilder. Especially since Mercury is in shadow, it's going to go retrograde over this point. Oh my god. And we're heading into eclipse season. I think when I said March was a power month, I may have underestimated what I was actually saying when I said that in the last video. As by power, when we're dealing with this Aries energy and this anger, and of course Mars is in Cancer, so this could get a bit emotional in terms of the expression of what's being communicated in terms of this Mercury in Aries and throughout this retrograde. So be careful with this. Especially I've talked about aspects of injustices and other things and partnerships and contracts and the stuff that's going on in the world. Okay. So Mercury in sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. And we have Mercury in Aries. We're dealing with some intensity that's surrounding this now. So Pluto in Aquarius is obviously dealing with intense transformation and aspects of change, shaking things up, instability. Can also be, it's very progressive. It's a very progressive sign, dealing with progress, technology, etc. It's also dealing with your uniqueness and expressing you for who you actually are and that you do fit into the collective, right? Where everyone is a unique individual person, but we are all a part of the collective. It's that aspect of decentralization in a lot of ways, and that each unique facet is able to connect to all the other facets that make up the whole. Okay, so that's what I mean by that. So, but it deals with your uniqueness and individuality can connect and fit in whatever ways. Diversity is, like they say, that diversity is the spice of life. Or variety is the spice of life, which is diversity, okay? Variety is the spice of life. So, and without that, it's just fucking boring, okay? So, but what this might be is it's intensifying this mercurial aspect, and I feel like maybe destabilizing it, because Uranus is in Taurus, which is stable signs, or destabilizing this. Uranus rules Aquarius, okay? And shaking things up in a lot of ways, but maybe this destabilization of whatever that we've deemed as stable needs to occur in some way, and that comes through awareness or communication, or through that expression of anger, injustice, whatever that is coming through here in this energy. One thing that I'm getting to is there could be transformative communication coming through, or awareness of that coming through. It's interesting. I'm getting guided again that we're in eclipse season. This is like fate season, right? Or what we deem as fate. However, we still create our fate, but there's an intense energy that exists here that maybe what needs to be created specifically now is strongly coming through. It's also the effects of the eclipses remain until next eclipse season. So we're kind of ending the cycle from last eclipse season and then bringing this stuff in from this eclipse season. So pay attention to that. For this eclipse season, which is now going to be for, the next 6 months, right? Until we head into the next season of eclipses, right? In the fall time, closer to fall-ish, because they're going to be in, we're likely going to have one in Virgo, okay, don't quote me on this because I haven't fully looked at this. There is a degree range, I forget the exact number, forgive me, in which the full moon and new moon has to occur within the nodal axis in order for it to be an eclipse. So there could still be, that's why we have an eclipse that will exist not in Pisces, I believe. So the first eclipse is going to be that full moon lunar eclipse, and then you're going to have the new moon solar eclipse, but that happens in Aries, right? Because it has to be within the certain range of that nodal axis. It's not just going to always happen within the signs that the nodes are in. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so I feel like the intensity of whatever is, because we're dealing with Pluto here, the modern ruler of Scorpio, so there is an intensity that is likely to come through in terms of this aspect of communication, all right? But I feel like that this energy itself is just intense in general, okay? I mean, like, we got a Mercury retrograde on top of eclipse season, on top of Venus's retrograde, which only happens, it doesn't happen every year like a lot of the other planets, right? We've had a Mars retrograde as well, which again doesn't happen every year like a lot of the other planets. Okay, so we've got this odd energy of these two planets that we're not used to going retrograde as often as the other planets, and now they're both, one that was retrograde has gone direct, and in the same week that happened, Venus has now gone retrograde, and now Mercury's in shadow and is going to go retrograde on the eclipse, and then it's going to, like, this is just, it's like, like, it's just like, there's so much kind of going on, and then with Pluto in Aquarius, it's like everything is everywhere. Okay, like, it's just like this shit hit the fan, the wrecking ball hit the wall. It's like, it's just a wild time that we're existing in right now. All right, I'm just gonna leave it there for Wednesday. Let's move on to Thursday, the 5th here. This is when we're going to have the first quarter moon. Let me pull this up. Do I have this set? Do I have this set for the quarter moon? Do I? Is it set for 10? Well, shit, I did set this up. I set this up a long time ago before I recorded, and then whenever I do this, I just kind of jump in and go with whatever's coming through and just start recording. And I totally forgot that I had it set up like this. Okay, I guess I have my lunation cycle. I must have. All right, well, anyways, so this quarter moon between Pisces and Gemini, I think what I'm feeling is what's coming through is kind of what I've already said at the beginning of this week, starting on Sunday, in terms of that Pisces Gemini type energy. I mean, this is kind of happening. I mean, we got the moon in conjunction to Jupiter here, 12 degrees, 16 degrees, right? So within a 4-degree conjunction of the moon and Jupiter in terms of this square, in terms of this expansion of communication, of awareness, and we've got Mercury in shadow period in Aries. Of course, Jupiter is in Mercury sign, squaring in Pisces. Like Pisces can go, it's like anything can happen in Pisces. It is like, it's just, this all just seems like, I wanted to say a fish out of water, where it's like flapping around, because we're dealing with Pisces, you know, the fish. It's like this, it just seems crazy to me, like wild, like, I don't know. I'm recording this a bit ahead of time, so I don't really know. Well, this week it's only like a week before really that I'm recording this, I guess. But like, it feels like it's just like it's a wild time. Like I don't really know how else to articulate what I've already said. It's like this expansion of awareness in terms of this Pisces energy. Like, it's going to seem wild because, like I said, Pisces can be anything. And if something gets revealed as to what's been hidden, we may not even be seeing the full part of the show here. So there's still maybe aspect of the illusion or the deception. We're only seeing certain part of it, and people are freaking out because they're not seeing the whole picture, or they're not taking time to expand or to tune in for what it really is. And then it gets out of control, and oh my God, right? So but it just feels, Pisces can be anything. Like I said, it just feels it could be like anything, but and anything in terms of whatever this communication is, this awareness is, this expansion of awareness, any of that. I'm just trying to feel like if there's anything else surrounding this first quarter moon. Another thing that maybe was coming up, or what I kind of felt there, was maybe what's hidden, because we're dealing with the moon here, which is kind of like subconscious or emotional subconscious type energy on top of Jupiter, expanding that and awareness of that. And again, what's hidden in terms of this Piscean energy, like I've already said. I don't think I can say any more on this other than what I've already said, and as it also relates to, the Sun square Jupiter. So pay attention to what I'm saying. The Sun square Jupiter at the beginning of this video. I've already said what I've needed to say surrounding this, so I don't think there's anything more to say, because I don't feel like there's anything more to say. So, all right, that's it. Move on to Friday the 7th. Let's have a look here. Nothing major peaking on Friday the 7th. Let's move to Saturday the 8th. And we're going to have the Sun in trine to Mars, and the Sun in semi-square to Pluto. And more intensity. Okay. Sorry, I feel like I kind of needed to sneeze for a minute. Let's let that try to disappear. Okay. That Sun square Pluto, I feel the intensity of it. It's like there's an aspect of shock, transformation. The Sun, yeah, semi-square to Pluto. It's pushing for that, honestly, that change, that transformation and change. But there's almost, like I said, there's an awareness of the deception in some way. Okay, and it's also, what I'm feeling now is that Pisces can be anything. It's like it's adding fuel to the fire of like the wildness of anything goes at this point. Like I just speaking of fire in terms of this trine to Mars, and Mercury and Aries and all of that, okay, but like that's what I mean. We're moving into like where we're going to feel a lot of this, what I would deem as masculine energy, and it's going to be kind of crazy. It's kind of like, it's just what it feels like. Like I said, surrounding aspects of the eclipse, aspects of all of what I've already said, I'm not, if I repeat myself, I'm just a broken record at this point. That's all of what I've already said in this video. Okay. And like I said, with Mars in post shadow, moving forward now, it's no longer direct. With the masculine, again, that energy moving forward now. We've gone over these old grounds of what the masculine needed to re-review. Now we're moving forward. But maybe it's in a completely different fucking way now, in terms of, Sun is trining this and semi-square to Pluto. There's this destabilization, this shaking things up if like anything goes, where we got to realize that maybe the foundations that we were on weren't as stable as what we thought that they were. They were moving, that we need to move in a new direction. We are moving in a new direction, whether we know it, whether we like it or not. Change is occurring, change is upon us. This Pluto and Aquarius energy isn't going away for, it's stuck in this for 20 years. Okay, so this idea of revolution, of change, of moving in a new direction, it's like we can't be stuck in the same old ways any longer. Like I said, with the Mars direct, that masculine energy can't be stuck in the old ways that it was any longer. It needs to move forward, in terms of its emotional expression in a lot of ways as well too. I've talked about that in previous videos, right? But I just feel, what I feel is there's a craziness to this. I can't explain it any more than that, other than there's a fucking craziness to this, in whatever that is. And I guess we'll just have to see it for what it is. Or, maybe it's something that happens in your personal life and not globally, or something that happens globally, not in your personal life, or both, or fucking whatever. I don't even know at this point, because when we're dealing with Aquarius and Pisces energy, it's like anything can happen. Out of the blue, completely out of the blue too. That's Aquarius, completely out of the blue. Anything can happen, flapping around like a fish out of water, like I said. Like, this is just, yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I really don't. I'm going to bring it back to myself here. Okay, well, thank you all for watching. If you've made it this far in this video, like I always say at the end of the videos, please leave a purple heart in the comments below so that I know you're a real one and that you have made it this far, that you do actually watch this. And thank you. I appreciate all those who do watch this, who probably aren't watching this because maybe they clicked off halfway through the video, but still appreciate you anyway for taking the time to watch part of this that you did want to watch. And yeah, that's all I've got for this week. I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.